All right, everybody. How are y'all doing? And welcome back to Escaping the Suburbs live. We are live once again. Let's just check everything out and make sure there's nothing that I've forgotten. Looks like our chats are up, and that's working great. And look who's here tonight with us. It's Mr. Ruddy. Hey there, John. How are you, sir? Let's put that over here because our bud John is here, everybody. Hi, John. Glad you made it. Very good to see you here. What is going on tonight is a few things we're going to get to. What I expect to do here, folks, once again, as always, I am your host, Scott, and as always, 100% AI free. And we're going to be looking at your comments tonight like we've been doing in the past, and we're going to look at some upcoming videos, and we'll take a quick look at some of the past videos we've done in the past couple of weeks as well. I'm glad you're doing fantastic up there. Is it starting to get chilly? You starting to get a little bit of a break from the heat up there in North Florida? Because we are not. It is nice and toasty down here, bud. Nice and toasty. Let's do this. I want to keep this nice and handy over here, so I'm going to move that there. There we go. That's easy to see. Cool. So let's get into the fun stuff and see what we can look at. Just a reminder, in case you forgot, we're all going to make it. Everything is going to be all right. Got a lot of negativity going on lately, and just a quick reminder that you can break free of the negativity and get out into your local park or other green spaces. John there says it's 85 now, which he calls hot, but I would call a break from the heat. I believe you, though. So let's take a look at a couple of the things we got going on. Let me jump into this screen here. Just a quick reminder that we do have our little YouTube store, our, what do you call it? Yeah, it's shop dot escapingthesuburbs.com. Now, will this URL work or will it fail me? That's what we're about to see. Okay, so the shop is not quite lining up right now, but that's okay. Let me show you where you can get to it. On any of these videos,
we've got a boat ramp.
We can go down into the description and you'll see there's a link in here to our store, our country store, our fancy little country store. And that's where you can get t-shirts or stickers or any other kind of cool stuff you want. Let's jump back to where we were. All right, so let's just take an overview of the channel and how things are going. This is awesome. 2,877 subscribers with 66 new subscribers in the last 28 days. That is amazing. Let me know if my voice is too loud or too quiet for you folks. The sound meter makes it look like it's okay. So this is more than 2 per day. I love that. You know, for a long time we saw like on average a half a subscriber a day or a subscriber a day, but this thing is really taken off. In fact, if we look here, we can see the most recent subscriber, somebody named Ruel T, who also left us a comment recently. David Karenick, Alan, and Healthy Kitchen Wizard all became subscribers here in the past week. And then we talked about some of these folks in the previous live stream, so I won't belabor that and go into it with you. I do want to show you a couple of interesting things. There's a really curious mystery going on with this channel. Let me show you what that is. First off, this is really neat. This audience size and growth graph. This is just the view for the last 28 days, but I'm going to pop it out to 90. And you can see, now remember, I turned the channel from motorcycle centric and only motorcycle stuff to this get out into nature, get out into green spaces. We're all going to make it message of hope back in March. So this last 90 days takes us back to the beginning of May. And there was a dip, and I expect that because we would expect to see people who are really only interested in motorcycle rides uh, go ahead and cash in and unsubscribe, which is completely understandable. I don't blame them one bit. But boy, I tell you, since the midpoint of July, right about a month ago, we've had a steady climb of subscribers, which is awesome. And you know, the folks who know better say that when you change the direction of a YouTube channel, you can expect, 3 months or so of chaos, etc. But then eventually you start to make traction and you start to find your new audience, or your new audience starts to find you. And I think that's what's happening over here. It looks to me like when you compare it with the rest of the year, there was this long period of just stagnation where nothing really was happening. And this is your monthly audience. This is not the number of subscribers. This is the number of viewers in a rolling count of the past 28 days. So we can see that for all this period of time, we had about 6,000 or 7,000 viewers per 28-day range. And then suddenly, right about the time I started to make that change in March, we've got all this other activity going, right? We've got this climbing plateau, and then we've got a drop-off period, and then a climbing plateau. I think that's what happens as you start to change what you're focusing on and what you're talking about. And then, boy, I tell you, since, like I said, the middle of July, it's just been a steady climb up here of 24,000 views in the last 28 days. And if we look at the dashboard again, there's some neat stuff in here. Look at this. In the last 28 days, it's actually 51,000 views total with 244 watch hours. This is amazing. We're not getting rich off of this, that is for sure. I don't mind sharing with you. Let's take a look at our analytics page. And you can see that in the past month I've made a whopping $13, so that's enough to get some gas to get out to the park with, guys. But we're not here to get rich. We're here to share the experience of getting out into the green spaces, out into nature, exploring our national parks and our state parks, and trying to get out of the city and out of the suburbs. So let's just take a quick peek. Also, one more thing I wanted to look at here under the advanced mode. Every once in a while this thing gets a little refresh. Yeah, there's a neat item in here. The videos versus shorts has been interesting because these short films, these little 20-second, 30-second vertically shot videos, they go nuts on their own. And this is really not a reflection of anything in particular that I'm doing. This is just a case of, shorts. That's just the way shorts works. But the regular videos that I make, the regular long form videos I've made, like this Kristen Jacobs National Area, Fern Forest, Riverside Park, Brian Tepford Park, those are the videos that we really want to focus on. All right, so what I want to point out to you, there is a really weird thing that happened in one of our recent videos, and if we scroll down and look at it, this one with the thumbnail that looks like a little battery icon draining, right? Let's take a look at this, and I want you to see something strange or interesting. Okay, this video was released on Friday, August 8th, and it chugged along with its 20 or so views, 30 views, 35 views, just very typical for us. But something happened right here. Something very strange happened on Thursday, August 14th. So a week ago. Yeah, a week ago. A week ago tomorrow. This thing just shot up and skyrocketed, and it was very difficult to understand at first, and I was really trying to figure out what was going on, and it just continued to climb. Now it's plateaued off right here, right at this Tuesday. So it seems like it was from Thursday to Tuesday that it was on this steep trajectory here, going kind of crazy, and I really couldn't understand why this video was doing that. Now, there's plenty of, oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, when something like this happens, it's earned me 25 cents. This particular video has earned us 25 cents. So Yeah, that's, nothing I'm going crazy, but it was certainly odd because none of our other videos, they normally have a very straight and steady trajectory, and this one had this strange, a week ago, strange, took off like a rocket ship, and I think I figured out what's going on. However, first, we have a comment from the Texas Gypsy. Good afternoon from the second largest parish in the world, Paris, Texas, which is found in the upper northeast corner of Texas, 27 miles south of the Oklahoma state line. And folks, if you didn't know, hi, Dad. This is my dad checking in. And we've read some of his comments in the past, but it's his first time to join us on a live stream. So, hi, Dad. Glad you made it. And now that you've given everybody your latitude and longitude full coordinates, they can find you. I'm sure the missile strike is inbound anytime now. All right, so going back to this odd mystery, this one video took off unexpectedly when it was a week old, right? Well, we're going to go to this tab here called Reach. And there's a little section here that says how viewers found this video. And this is the wacky thing. 97% of this traffic was what they call YouTube advertising. So let's see. Let's hover over that little eye. These are ad playbacks that qualify as a view. So what happened is somebody has bought advertising on YouTube and used my video as the content of their advertising so that when, let's say you go to watch, I don't know, some major YouTuber. Let's say you try to watch Van Neistat, or you try to watch Veritasium or something like that. Or, well, you watch one of their videos and there's an ad at the beginning of your video. And for some reason, YouTube has been showing my video as the ad at the beginning of other people's videos. It's the strangest thing. Now, one theory, because I did some reading to try to figure out how in the world would this happen, and there's three possible um, theories on this, right? And one of those is that YouTube is just every once in a while decides to start advertising a small channel. We are a very small channel. Maybe YouTube chose to advertise a channel by throwing an ad for my channel at the beginning of other videos. Doesn't seem likely. Uh, Theory two, according to the wise sages on the internet, say that if you've got an enemy on YouTube, some other creator, some other channel, they could buy space. It would cost them about $20 to buy this kind of ad space and then put my channel on their advertising. I struggle to understand how an enemy hurts you with this, because look what they've done for me, right? This enemy, I wish I had a lot of enemies like this. They've pumped this one video from the standard 30 to 40 views up to 2,200 views. And I've done some reading on why would that hurt your channel, and it's kind of a mystery to me. I think the theory or the idea is that if people see your channel being advertised, they think you advertised it, maybe. I can show you though, just quickly. We did play with this YouTube promotions back in May because there was a video that was my little documentary about the Tequesta burial mounds, and I did buy $20 worth of advertising for this video, and it got about 4,000 views. But I haven't done anything with that other video, so it wasn't me. That is for sure. It wasn't me that did that. Let's go back to the one we were just looking at. The other theory, and the one I kind of lean towards thinking possibly might have happened, is is that when you go to Google Maps and you go to the place where this video was shot, which is, let's see if I can remember exactly how to get there. That's the turnpike. There's 40. Okay, so this is a nature area here called Kristen Jacobs Natural Area. And, oh, you know what? I don't know if this is coming through in the screen, is it? No, I need to, let's do that. There we go. Now you can see it. Sorry about that. I zoomed into this view right here. This natural area here, if we go to reviews, I wrote a review about this natural area, and in this review that I wrote, I included a link. I included a link to the video. Okay, so it's possible that people are seeing the review that I put on here included a link to the video in the review. But in order for that to be what's happening, and let me bring our screen back to where we had it. There we go. In order to, that means that the YouTube advertising, now YouTube is Google and Google owns Google Maps, so it's very possible that people clicking a link inside of a review inside of Google Maps gets sent to a video, and that somehow gets captured as YouTube advertising views. It says ad playbacks that qualify as a view. So maybe Google considers the reviews inside of its own Google Maps as an ad. I don't know. That doesn't make sense, but that's the only thing I can think of. Um, Here's a comment from John. Good point, John. Could a county park pick up your video on their website and that shows the details of the park? That is very possible. But if that was the case, what I think we would see here is, and let me turn off your comments so it's not in the way. We would see external right here. If I post a link to my video on Facebook or on X, which I do sometimes, that traffic will come in as external. And so if like Okaloochee State Park had my video as a link on their website and people were following that, I think that would show up as external here. This is definitely saying YouTube advertising, which makes me think it's something Google related. So that's the only theory I got on that, is that maybe Google Maps is driving this. So I've actually done that quite a lot. I've left a lot of reviews at a lot of the nature areas I've gone to. In fact, I'm in the top, actually, believe this or not, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm in the top 2% of all reviewers in Google Maps. So when you go to Google Maps and you see restaurants, etc., people leave reviews, and I've been doing that for 10 years. I take a few pictures. If I'm at a restaurant, I'll take a few pictures of something, or if I'm at a park or anything, and I'll just upload the pictures to Google Maps as a review, leave a little 5-star comment, the service is great, the food is good, stuff like that. So just out of habit, I started posting reviews of the parks I would go to, and I fairly recently started putting links to these videos. So we're going to keep an eye on our other videos, and we're going to watch for this kind of explosive taking off type view stuff, right? Excuse me. Let's filter this by publicly viewable, because there's all the old videos that we don't have anymore. If we look at our most viewed videos, we've got this one from our friend John. You probably remember Charlie Klein, and this is a video of his friends over there at the Mabder, the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route. And that's got 34,000 views. And then How I Fixed My Ford Escape Brake Lights got 22,000 views. And then we get down into the 4,000. So I guess we'll just keep an eye on the other videos that have picked up. This one here is the one that I paid $20 to get some views on the documentary. But this Kindle Paperwhite, very popular because people were thinking about buying a Kindle. And so this Why I Want to Work Forever video has been around for quite a long time. John, I know you commented on that video, and you've seen shorts on that recently as well. But if we say this one had doesn't have any kind of odd spike to it or anything. It's just normal. So, all right, we're going to stop messing with that. I don't know. It's still a mystery, and I haven't completely made up my mind on what caused that. But doesn't matter. Let's take a look at our comments. And let's go back a week in our comments and take a look and see what you folks have been saying on our videos. And I scroll back here to 8 days ago. We read these last live stream. You guys know this, by the way. How many live streams have we done in a row without stopping? That's been awesome. Let's take a peek and see. Go to contento, go to live, and I'm going to take a sip of tea. And so we had today, which is the 20th, the 13th, the 6th, the 30th, and the 23rd. And that would be it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th live stream in a row on a Wednesday night. I don't know if this time is good for folks or not. Starting at 6 o'clock my time means I had time to get a bite to eat, although I didn't have dinner tonight, so I didn't have a bite to eat yet, but that's why I picked 6 o'clock. But at the same time, for example, my dad is in Central Time Zone in the second largest parish in the world, in the northeast corner of Texas, 27 miles south of the Oklahoma state line. I always thought you were a lot closer to Oklahoma than 27 miles. I thought it was like 1 mile. Uh, okay, so yeah, 5 live streams in a row. Time flies when you're talking your head off. So 7 days ago, we might have talked about this one. We may have read this one. Healthy Kitchen Eats replied to our Brian Tepford Park video, and she said, I totally agree. Great way to recharge. Get out and enjoy the park and nature. New subscriber here. I especially like the exercise area. So, yeah, that was a pretty neat park. Brian Tepford Park has a really nice, developed weightlifting and cardio type area. Really nice. I will just ignore the comments that I made, but last week's live stream, for some reason, did have some kind of stereo delay, echo, reverby type thing. It was really annoying. I did figure out what caused that. It was having multiple inputs on the mics set up on my live streaming software. And if you wondered, our live streaming through OBS, and you can add multiple microphones and multiple sound inputs, which is how I do the music at the beginning. But I must have had 2 microphones set on accident, so that's not good. 5 days ago, Nourish with Rahini said, great video. Your consistency and creativity are exactly what YouTube rewards. Keep it up. That was really nice. That was super nice. And and then he said, the video's fine, but why do your best videos get ignored? You nailed the whole thing, but the traction just isn't there. Which leads me to believe that Nourish is just trying to be constructive and helpful with the channel, or, and this happens a lot, or he's trying to sell me something. I get approached all the time by people who say, listen, your channel's great, but it's not taking off. It's because I can help you, and let me make your thumbnails, or let me design your blah, 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 whatever. These guys that, they just grab onto every YouTuber out there, and they try to leverage the hopelessness and the frustration that some YouTubers are feeling because they feel like their channel's not going anywhere. And I don't know if Nourish with Rahini is doing that, but it made me suspicious when he said, why does your best videos get ignored? You nailed the whole thing, but the traction isn't there, because that's really a setup for, I've got experience with thousands of channels. Let me help you. I can show you how to blah, blah, blah. So maybe that's what that is. Okay, here we have a comment from YouTube E7Q, who has been making comments on, it seems like, our videos 3 or 4 live streams in a row. And I'm starting to think I might know who this is. But if I'm right, I'm going to keep their identity to myself. So YouTube E7Q, your secret is safe with me, or I'm wrong. I may just be wrong. So YouTube E7Q says, awesome video, Scott. I love how you're capturing the before of this spot at the age of Coral Springs. Those barricades, now if you guys don't remember, this is the video where I went out to the end of Wiles Road, and they're going to be building this glorified walkway out across the Sawgrass Expressway and then out into the Everglades with a observation tower. And it's just now beginning to be under construction. So we went and looked at the before video. That's what YouTube here is replying to. Those barricades and the raw landscape really set the stage for the exciting changes ahead with the pedestrian walkway and the Everglades Trail. The idea of future before and after comparison is brilliant, and I can't wait to see how this transformation, period. Keep exploring. Thanks for sharing. Have a wonderful Friday. So that was nice. Very nice. And then here we have a very humorous username, the Holy Hand Grenade. GRAN Grenade. The Everglades are not on the other side. That is a water retention area, not the Everglades. It is a shallow water marsh full of invasive cattail. Please do not confuse that with the Everglades. So, you know, what are you gonna do with folks like this, right? They want to tell you that something's not the Everglades. Okay, if you say so. Let's just take a peek here. And you don't want to call it the Everglades. The area I visited is right out here. That's Sample Road. So we went to the end of Wiles Road and visited this area right here. And what we said is on the other side of this levee, if we go like this, I said that's the Everglades. That's what I called the Everglades, and that's what is your name again? The Holy Hand Grenade says that's not the Everglades. Now, interesting thing, when I look and zoom out, down here this says Everglades Wildlife Management Area. And there's several places up here that I was looking at that says Everglades Treatment Area. This has Everglades in it. If you just drop a pin like this and go to it, you get I don't remember where it was, but somewhere in there it said that's the Everglades. If we were to, do a map of, let's just do a map of the Everglades and do a images and look at the map. I don't know. This is the Everglades all the way up through here, and we're right here. So, bless your heart that that's a water retention area and not the Everglades. Please do not confuse that with the Everglades. Whatever you say, bud. Let's move on. Robert's active retirement here. Now, I told you folks last time, and I see we got a few more folks dropping in and dropping out. So remember, I don't see who you are unless the only way I know who you are is if you leave me a comment. So leave me a comment if you want me to know who you are. Otherwise, I don't know who's visiting. You're all anonymous, and I don't want to infringe on your anonymity. I told you folks last time that I just met this person, Robert's active retirement. Really nice person, nice guy. Got a YouTube channel about staying active in retirement, and I actually met him through Rob the Maritimer, which is a channel dedicated to becoming a better YouTuber. Rob the Maritimer, by the way, if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, this is the guy to go watch his videos and get encouraged and get instructions. And he live stream every Tuesday, and he basically encourages guys of a certain age, yours truly and above, to start a YouTube channel, and why you should. But anyway, on one of his live streams, I met this fella, Robert's Active's Retirement. He said, I also think I lost my sense of smell. But look to observe nature. Of course I hear the sounds. And he's referring to a comment I made on one of my own videos where I pointed out that I think that thanks to COVID, I've lost a good portion of my sense of smell, unfortunately. It happens. So getting out into nature and trying to smell the nature area actually is easier for me because it's so strong when you get out into the pine needles and stuff. It's actually very enjoyable for me to be able to actually smell something again. So getting out into nature. He had a double tap, so he typed the same message twice, but that happens. This was neat. On I told you a long time ago I made a video about why I plan to work forever and never retire, but I've also started making these shorts. By the way, these shorts, I want to show you something real quick, how those come about. These things, I don't spend a lot of time making these things. This website called Opus Clips, you just feed it one of your existing videos, give it a URL, and it chops it up and makes the short for you, and it'll put your logo up there for you, and it'll do all that cool captioning so that, like, about 100 years ago, the northern peninsula of Tampa. See that? Really neat. So this is how these shorts get created. In about 10 minutes, I can make a ton of them. And I currently have my channel set to publish a short at midnight and 11:30, 2:30, and 4:30. they're just nice ways to draw attention and folks' views to the channel. It's just a way of trying and reach a wider audience, right? Um, okay, so Michael Bronner here was replying to a short on the subject of working forever, and he said, I'm a therapist, and I hope to do the same. I hope to work at least part time into my 80s. My experience with others is when they retire, they are often bored and lack feelings of usefulness, which can lead to depression. And I believe that. That is so obvious, really, when you think about it. Um, we've all known somebody who said, "My plan is to sail into the sunset, sit on a beach, and do nothing." And 3 years later, they're 350 pounds, they can't move around, they're inactive, they're upset with themselves, they dislike themselves, and they don't feel like they have any sense of purpose. They don't feel like they have any sense of accomplishment. I believe very strongly that humans need a sense of purpose. They need something to accomplish. And on the subject of that smelling air, once again, we have a comment from YouTubeE7Q who says, what a refreshing and spot on reminder, Scott. Your video perfectly captures how something as simple as smelling the air in the forest. That smells like victory line was awesome. Thanks for reminding me to find peace outdoors. Subscribed and breathing deeper already. Have a great day. What a nice comment. I tell you what, you folks are the best. Now this is a nice exchange I had here. Also on the topic of that sniffing air and smelling forest air video, someone named Living Life in the Lockyer Lifeaft said, nature really has a lot going for it. It is the best place to relax and feel grounded. Many years ago, I worked in nature in the bush, and even though it was hard work, something about it kept me going back. Robbie. So thank you, Robbie. That was a really nice comment. As you can see here, I said back to him, sounds like you've had some amazing experiences. Did you always work outdoors from the beginning, or is that something you switched into? And are you still doing that? So Robbie replies, I started off as an apprentice carpenter, which is outdoors, but went to work in the bush, scrub cutting, shearing, and fencing. Actually, many things. Until retiring, I was a working artist. I have a YouTube channel, The Rusticated Artist. So I want everybody to go check out, when they get a chance, The Rusticated Artist. Let's go right there. And what do you know? I hadn't even subscribed. I've watched several of his videos. I guess I hadn't subscribed, but boom, what do you know? Now we're subscribed. So, thanks, Robbie. And I want everybody who's watching this to get a chance. If you think this is if you think this might be the kind of channel you're interested in, where he's a storyteller and just talks about his very interesting life, I want you to go give him a look. Check it out. And if you like the videos, subscribe to him. So thank you, Robbie. And someone named Frog 1995 was looking at our video where I talked about the cure to anxiety, which was finding peace in the forest. He said, my anxiety, he or she, don't know if Frog is a he or a she here, sorry. My anxiety goes away every time I step out into my yard. It is definitely because I live in the woods. And you're making me jealous there, Froggy. Frog said, it's been 1 year since moving out of the city, and I don't regret it one bit. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that, and there's got to be 50 million YouTube channels out there, people who bought some land and decided to build off the grid or clear a driveway and put up a cabin and run electricity. I always wonder how they upload their videos before they got internet out on their wood. Maybe they go to Starbucks. And these are these are all my own comments that I've put on shorts. I'll often put a comment on one of my own videos with a link back to another video. All right, we had a video recently about saving money going to Publix. You know, folks think Publix is a bit more expensive of a store. But if you get their sales circular, you learn what's on sale and when, and then you stock up on it. And also, they have their buy one, get one that they're famous for. In fact, I saw somebody the other day wearing a Publix t-shirt that said, "You had me at buy one, get one." That was pretty funny. So, Robert here says, "We shop at Kroger and Publix. I like them both. I finally learned how to scan those special deals at Kroger. Why do they make it so hard for seniors?" Well, Robert, they're not making it harder for seniors. They're making it harder for everyone, my friend. And in response to another short, Finding Peace, Overcoming City Life's Challenges, Michael Bronner again said, now you guys may remember a comment we had from Michael. I believe it was Michael quite a bit ago, who told us that he was like multiple time world champion disc golf. Was that him? Oh, I can't search comments there, can I? Let's see. Can I just type a word here? Oh, no, it was somebody else. Ron Jones. My mistake. Okay. Yeah. I was incorrect. So let's get back to where we were. Let's get back to where we were. Nope, it wasn't Michael Bronner who said that about disc golf. My mistake. I must be thinking of you saying something else. Easy to get mixed up on that. So he said, studies suggest that inhaling pine scents can lower cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, promote relaxation, and even boost positive feelings and energy. 100% believe that. Um, wouldn't mind having a pine tree inside the house all the time. That'd be nice. This is an interesting comment that kind of came out of left field. Bill Purrs, 1906 here. I was visiting the Moore Haven Veterans Park, and you may remember that video, and talked about that being the source of the Caloosahatchee River. And his comment there just says Caloosahatchee. So I don't know if he was trying to correct me on Caloosahatchee. I doubt it, because I said Caloosahatchee. Maybe he just liked typing Caloosahatchee. Don't know. Hey, John, look, it's you again. You're famous. John says, I love the new Publix soft roll. Lot less bread to meat ratio. I still prefer Wawa, but both good. Man, John, how many times on motorcycle trips did we stop at a Wawa? And everybody wanted to go to those little kiosks and build their own little sub on those kiosks, right? But you're right. The new Publix is called a soft sub roll. It's a little sweet. I was talking to my dad about this the other day. It kind of tastes like those King's Hawaiian rolls. It's a little sweet. But to your point, there's less bread compared to the meat. It's a little bit thinner bread, maybe, or not quite as puffy and bready. So I agree. Yeah, 100%. John, I think you double tapped. You bang bang got us the same comment twice. You know, it might not even be you folks double tapping. YouTube does that sometimes, and there's no explanation why it does that. So I don't know. Uh, John said, "Don't even think about retiring until you have a burning desire to do something else, work or fun. Chase passion. It can be camping, cycling, protecting turtle nests, woodworking, starting your own whatever, in-home computer technician, whatever you can't get to today. Yes, be flexible." So that's a good point John has, is don't retire unless you have a burning desire to go do something else, and then it's okay to retire and go do that. But I think the point of our video that he's referring to was, it's not good to be retired and not have a calling. To just retire and say, now I'm retired, I'm only retired, has no interest to me, no appeal to me. It reminds me of my friend Alec, who retired from his career in IT, but he had spent the early part of his adult life in the Army and had attended West Point. And now in retirement, he volunteers for all kinds of West Point alumni groups and West Point veteran service groups. So he retired from his day job to engage in his passion for working with and serving the graduates of West Point. It's a good illustration of that. All right, in reaction to our brain's thermostat video, ELOHSSA3949, I'm not even going to pronounce it, says, but if you move to Montana, you could become a dental floss tycoon. What can you say to that? Is this like a reference I don't know? Is this like a reference to a song maybe or a movie? You could become a dental floss tycoon. If I Google that, oh, of course it would be a Frank Zappa thing. Of course it would be a Frank Zappa lyric. I might be moving to Montana soon just to raise me up a flop of dental floss. Raising it up, waxing it down in a little while box that I can sell uptown. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense when you realize they're just quoting a song. If you move to Montana, you could become a dental floss tycoon. Thank you very much. Ilo HSSA. You guys crack me up. Sarah Haras, whose name is a palindrome, says, yes, we can retrain our brains to relax and feel safe by enjoying simple pleasures. And couldn't say it better myself, Sarah Haras. And then when we were talking about we had a little vote on thumbnails. You guys might remember, maybe if you look at our channel and you go to posts right here, this posts tab, we had a little vote here. I said, did you like this thumbnail without the sign or with the sign? And the sign is a historical marker. And the without the sign won, but really there's only 5 votes, so we had 3-2. John left a comment and said, I love all the preserved history, almost like honoring those before us. That's a good point. John, I once made a series of videos visiting every historical marker in Broward County. Doug and I rode around and visited every single historical marker, and it's not that hard to do that. There is a historical marker database. I'm not going to retype that first word that I misspelled because Google knows what I mean. So here we have the HMDB, the Historical Marker Database. And you can search in here for your county or your city. Let's search for Broward County, where I live. Look at all these historical markers. So if you just pick one of them, let's just go to any of these historical markers. This database tells you about what's there. But even neater is right here that says touch for map. And it takes you to a Google map that has all of the historical markers in your entire area plotted out. And it's awesome. You can just, here, look at this. This is the FEC Railway Depot historical marker. So I plotted all those into Google Maps once, made a route, and it took us, I think, 3 different days worth of driving around and visiting to be able to visit all those historical markers. But that's a good way to put it, John. That's a neat way to say it. It's like honoring those who went before us. And then the Quiet Nomad channel here commented and said the first version, although I admit I'm struggling with this topic myself. And again, she's replying to my question about which thumbnail do you like the best. The Quiet Nomad, I would say I recommend this channel. I've enjoyed it. I've been enjoying this channel a little bit. It's very nice and calming. Let's just skip to the middle there.
Feelings rise and fall like restless tides, powerful in the moment, but not the truth.
Got a European accent. I'm estimating maybe somewhere like France, Belgium. I'm not sure. Northern Spain, maybe. But yeah, nice channel, nice lady.
Unseen.
Got her kitty cat out there making videos. So the Quiet Nomad, if you want to go look at that channel and go check her out. And she's talking about the difficulty in making thumbnails. And she says she's struggling. She has no idea how to do it. But if you look at her channel, these are some nice thumbnails. These are some nice looking thumbnails there, Nomad. they're not just made with AI. It's not just AI slop, because these are screenshots from her video with her kitty cat, the cow. Um, the nice text looks good. The only thing is, I would like to see them all the same. I'd like a channel to have uh, all consistency, but she might just be experimenting with different styles, trying to decide what works. And she's a brand new channel, only, what is it, 7 videos right now. And so she's probably still trying to figure out which one feels right, which one looks right, and then she can go back and eventually make them all look the same. Just to give you an example, when all the thumbnails are kind of consistent, it looks a little bit more cohesive, right? When you get that all the same sort of branding thing rocking. All right, John. John, you get the prize, buddy, for the most comments. I'm telling you. He's talking about this video where I went out to Boynton Beach Ocean Inlet, and I did a quick little test to show the noise cancellation turned off and then back on, so you could hear the wind noise suddenly jump when I disabled the noise cancellation, right? He said, that noise cancellation is awesome. The tech in that kit gives real clear audio. I have never been to that inlet, but crazy parking cost. But it's intercoastal side, big bucks. It was $27 to park over on the west side of the intercoastal on Memorial Day. I've been back since then. The pricing is much more reasonable. It's like $1 for a few hours. But that $27 for an hour on Memorial Day, that just turns you off. And as a follow up to that video, John also said some for sure. The St. Augustine inlets are very old. Now remember, this Boynton Inlet's only 100 years old right now. Obviously, St. Augustine is the oldest town in America. Still inhabited town, I guess. St. Augustine still rocking after 600 years. How many years old is St. Augustine? Jacksonville is more of access off the St. Johns River that flows north, and it has many cuts. And as I had said in this conversation with John, there's not that many rivers that go north. The St. Johns River in Florida is one of the few, St. Lawrence being another one, that flows north. And the most recent comment from a couple hours ago, this fella here, quietly armed, said, hiking in Big Cypress is a huge stress reset for me. And I'll show you where Big Cypress is in a second here. Nothing like taking in nature and forgetting about the 9 to 5 grind. And then I had asked him, do you go to Loop Road? Where do you get that from? Loop Road or Pace's Dyke Trail? He replied and he says, we actually use Collier County Rest Stop Area Access Point. Hike to Camp Carpenter from there. It's beautiful. Lots of big gators, sunbathing, and he doesn't mean that it's good to go sunbathing. He means the gators are sunbathing. And native birds by the water, very peaceful as long as you don't get too close to them. Yeah. So let's find that. The Collier County Rest Stop area. Let's hop back into our old faithful Google Maps, and we're going to go down to the Collier County Rest Stop. We can just search for that, actually. Oop. Okay, so this is on I-75, and let's see how far across is it. Yeah, it's right in the middle. It's little before you get to 29, and it's after. I think I've told you folks a few times about this really nice rest stop down here that's got they're building a new observation deck and walking deck out here. So that's right by the toll plaza. The toll plaza is right here. Nope, that's not the toll plaza. Where is the toll plaza? It's 10 miles on the other side. Where is it, you guys? There's that thing, 10 miles to the toll. There we go. I knew I wasn't going crazy. So the toll plaza is right past Andytown. Okay, there's Andytown. This used to be, when this was just 27 and a dirt road, there was a gas station called Andytown with a little bar there. And so if we go back out to this Collier County rest area. This is where our friend says they get in and hike. So here's the Florida Trailhead. Let's look at Street View. And from here, we can look that way and see, oh, there's not a very good view of it. Let's come back this way. Yeah, there's not a very good view of it here, but that's going to be the trailhead right there that our friend was talking about. So there we go. Now we can see it. That path right there. Okay, let's reset that to north. And what did he say after that? He said the Collier County Rest Stop area, hike to Camp Carpenter. So let's do that. Camp Carpenter. Whoa. Where is Camp Carpenter? That's not this, is it? Bench, Florida National Scenic Trail. No. Well, maybe that's up north. Oh, yeah, there's Camp Carpenter up there. So he's actually leaving from this northern parking lot and this scenic trail up here. And then following this hiking trail to the north. And then Camp Carpenter is over here. And we can actually see how this Cross Seminole trail follows along there. Let's take a look at the photos of Camp Carpenter. Campsite. That's not hiking. That's camping. Watch out for the gators, young lady. There we go. There's a gator. Yeah, it looks like a neat place. Don't fall in with the gators. All right, so Carpenter Camp or Camp Carpenter. Yeah, it's pretty neat. That looks like a good little walk, a good little hike. Let's see how far that is. So it's 2 miles as the crow flies. But if we bend our little walking path here, we can see that it's actually more like, it's still not bad, 2.5, 3 miles, something like that. It's not terrible. Just take some water because it'll be hot out there this time of year. These big piles of water here, don't go mushing about in there. That's where the gators are going to be. I would imagine it's probably wise to stay on the trail, right? That's probably the best advice, is to just stay on the trail. Here's a nice street view that shows the campsite, though. That's going to be the open campsite area there for Camp Carpenter. All right, cool. So that's a good piece of advice. Collier County Rest Stop Area Access Point. Hike to Camp Carpenter. Lots of big gators sunbathing and native birds by the water. Very peaceful as long as you didn't get too close to them. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, that's all we got to talk about there. Couple things coming up on the 22nd of September is the September equinox, and I live very close, within a mile. I live within a mile of Sample Road, and Sample Road runs due east. And although the equinox for North America is on the 22nd, the day on which the sun rises and sets directly east of me is on the 23rd, September 23rd. And I thought it might be kind of fun or kind of cool to go out to Sample Road, which runs due east, and watch the sun either come up or set, kind of like our own little henge. Watching the sun come up due east from the middle of Sample Road might be kind of neat. Maybe we should live stream it. That would be kind of cool. Or maybe at the end of the day, we go out to the Atlantic Trailhead at the end of Atlantic Boulevard and live stream the sunset on the 23rd with the sun going down directly 270 degrees west. That might be kind of neat. It'd just be live streaming from my phone, so we wouldn't have all this fancy logos and text and putting your text up on the screen. I wouldn't be able to do that, but we'd still be able to live stream it, so it might be a good idea. Um, What day is the 27th? Or sorry, the 23rd. Let's take a peek. The 23rd of September. Okay, so that's a Tuesday. We could live stream on Tuesday night and see the sunset directly west of us, 270 degrees west on Tuesday the 23rd. Or if we decided to do it on Wednesday night and just live stream the sunset, it'd only be off by 1 degree probably. So that's the kind of goofy thing that I would do. That's exactly the kind of goofy thing that I would do. So maybe we'll do that. Thought it might be neat though to do some outside, outdoors live streaming, and I don't know, just because. Why not, right? Just because. Let's see what else is going on. I think that might be everything that I had to talk about, unless you folks had anything to bring up. If you guys had anything you wanted to mention in the comments, I'm not sure if any of you are still around or not. It shows that we still have 3 concurrent viewers. So I know who 2 of you are, but I think we're just going to wrap it up. It's top of the hour. We've been talking for an hour. I'm about ready to go refill my sweet tea. Mmm, yummy. I like these insulated cups. They're right. And what are we drinking? I have this still out here. This is Publix Diet Sweet Tea from their deli. All right, well, I want to say to everybody who left a comment tonight, thank you. And I want to say thank you to everybody who left a comment on a previous video. Let's take a quick peek at upcoming videos and see what videos we have. This is a view of our currently in the can videos, right? And the most recent video that we have published was this Boynton Beach video that came out 2 days ago. And I'm probably going to release this one next. It's therapeutic, not therapy. Why trees are the best therapists. Also filmed at Kristen Jacobs' natural area. But some of the other upcoming videos is why I touch trees instead of taking pills, how I found my safe space in nature, and you can too. Visiting Veterans Park in Margate. I think all of you will like this one. This is exploring the hidden birthplace of the personal computer. John, you might remember that I told you about that. I visited the former IBM design center in Boca Raton, which is no longer, but it's got a really neat tribute to the personal computer. Here, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just take a quick preview on that one, and I'm gonna just show you something neat. Um, this was really cool. So there's a giant keyboard on the ground on a patio that they have right there in front of the building to commemorate the birthplace of the PC. So we'll get that video out to you folks pretty soon. I think you'll enjoy that one. So let's see here. What do we have? We've got therapeutic, touching trees, safe space, Veterans Park, the birthplace of the PC. I've got a video here how I transmitted directly from the GMRS Tron antenna in Boca Raton. A trip out to the Arthur R. Marshall National Wildlife Refuge. A trip to Westchester Park, which is actually 3 parks in one. They got 3 parks combined into one park. It's hard to explain without seeing it. Here is a trip I took out to Miami International Airport, Fort Lauderdale Airport, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, and Boca Raton Airport. finding calm at airport observation spots. Um, the Boca one's probably my favorite because its observation spot is new and I guess it's just fresh and new. I have a trip out here, how this club helped save Miami after Hurricane Andrew. And I'm not going to give you any spoilers on how that nightclub saved Miami, but you'll have to watch that video when it comes out. And here's a trip to Parkland Bay's Linear Park. And can a weird park like this relieve city stress? Spoiler alert, yes, it can. And if you don't know what a linear park is, the video will be out shortly. So watch for those videos in your inbox. If you're subscribed but you don't have notifications turned on, too bad. No, John, I don't think it was the ThinkPad. The first PC, this would have been like a desktop computer. IBM might have designed the ThinkPad there too, as well. But the first computer from 1984, um, it's got like a 4-digit model number that started with a 5 or something like that, like 5400 or something. I forget exactly what the first PC was. You know what we can do? Easy way to find out. Just ask our friend the goggles. Yeah, there's the Ken back. IBM PC. Here it is, the 5150. 5150. That's funny. So that would have been the first one designed in Boca Raton, sir. Yeah. So yeah, those videos are coming out soon, and highly encourage you to have notifications turned on the channel if you haven't already done that, so that you don't miss any of the videos coming out soon. That's going to be pretty cool, pretty fun. All right, well, now it's an hour and 5 minutes into the live stream, so I appreciate every single one of you for sticking around, and I see that one of you already had to drop off. Totally understandable. I will see you in the next live stream 1 week from tonight, and there will be a new video waiting in your inbox on Friday morning, right before lunchtime. And I'm not going to tell you which one it's going to be yet, but I think I just showed to you. Yes, John, that's exactly right. The first computer, right before, so maybe that was the ThinkPad, right before moving up to Raleigh, Durham. The IBM folks moved up to Research Triangle Park. Our friend went to go work for them, didn't he? And now it's owned by Lenovo, right? Lenovo owns that division or company now, so it's been sold off to China. All right, this is me saying goodbye. Thank you very much for watching and for chilling with me. I will see you in the next video. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And don't forget, you got this. I'll see ya.